Uh, hey, how y'all doing? My name is Dion, and I haven't posted a video in 3 years. Okay, so the last time I posted a video was the 19th of July, 2022, and it was an ASMR video. And I remember buying a Yeti mic, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna commit to this. Like, I love ASMR. Still do 3 years later. And I really thought I was gonna get on that grind and start making those ASMR videos. And then I just stopped posting completely. I wanted to make a video kind of talking about why I stopped posting, what's happened over the last 3 years, and what this kind of means for my channel moving forward. I was actually on TikTok Live about a month ago, and some lovely people were commenting saying they missed my content. They really wanted me to start making videos again, and like, when was I coming back to YouTube? And it is just insane to me that like all this time's gone by and people were still saying that to me. So for those few people that were saying that, thank you. If you're here from the past, thank you as well. If you're new, hey, thanks for watching. Let's have a yarn. Also, a couple of things I want to mention before I get into things. I have a microphone. This is new. I'm not sure how it's gonna go. It's my first time using it, so fingers crossed it all goes fine. I'm also filming on my phone. I used to film on a DSLR, tried to use it recently, and the picture quality was so bad, which is insane because I remember buying that back when I first started making videos, and that cost me like well over $1,000, which right now in this economy is a lot of money. I mean, to be fair, it has been like 10 years, I guess, since like 2015. So yeah, probably has gotten shit. But anyway, I'm using my phone, so half the time I'm probably going to look at like the bit where I'm probably supposed to look, but then most of the time I'm probably going to be looking at the screen. So yep, just do with that information what you will. So I've taken some notes on my iPad, and I guess it's just some things that I want to make sure I mention throughout the video. So if you see me looking down, that's why. But I guess let's start with why I left YouTube. There's no definite reason as to why I stopped making content, more so like a mixture of reasons. I started making videos technically on another channel back in the day. It was 2013 or 2012, I think. And I made videos on this channel called Dash of Dion. I was a kid. I was still in high school, and I made videos on there until like 2014, 15. And then I set up casuallydione. Started making videos on there, and I think it was 2015. I'm pretty sure. Like, I think I was in my last year of high school, which is crazy. Do not do the mathematics. I know that I'm old. They were all about like One Direction and Five Sauce and like Justin Bieber and like YouTubers like Joe Sugg and fucking Dan and Phil. If there's any of you that are still here from that time, I commend you, because I'm a totally different person now. I started getting into K-pop in 2017 when I did a reacting to K-pop, very original video. I found one of the main things that changed when I got into K-pop was I lost a lot of like followers. A lot of people would comment on my videos being like, where's your One Direction content? I also lost a lot of friends during that time because apparently there's problems like at K-pop. Anyway, don't care. It was a very long time ago. When I made that shift over to K-pop content, I started with BTS, really got into GOT7, Stray Kids, and IZ*ONE RIP. I think I had a problem, like an internal problem. Well, I've got multiple, but anyway, we're not going to get into it. I felt like personally I had to stick to a niche. Like, I had to stick to like one type of content, and that was like defining casuallydione as a whole. So when I went from like One Direction and Five Sauce to K-pop, obviously I kind of started with BTS, and I felt like once I started making videos about GOT7, people would do what they did when I moved from One Direction and stuff to K-pop in the comments being like, why aren't you doing One Direction anymore? Yada, yada, yada. When I moved from BTS to GOT7, people were always like, why do you not like BTS anymore? Like, why aren't you making BTS content anymore? And the truth is I just grew out of them. Like, it's as simple as that. I wasn't just into GOT7. My two old groups are GOT7 and Stray Kids. I never made Stray Kids content because I felt like the same thing would happen if I moved and did like a bit of both. People would be like, why are you not making GOT7 content anymore? Anyway, basically, to put it simply, I think I cared too much about what people thought. It's all a learning journey of life, okay? I guess that's a little bit of context into the content type of thing. Like, I had so many ideas. I would write them all in my notes app, and the amount of unposted videos that I had was insane. I had so many videos that I wanted to do. I wanted to start a podcast where I was like talking about K-pop, like all different types of K-pop, but I just felt like I couldn't because I was like, no, because people are going to be like, you don't like GOT7 anymore because you're not making GOT7 content only. And I just cared too much. And now I don't. Going back to how I said I lost followers and friends during the time when I guess, converted my content style, my views were getting lower and lower. And to be honest, I did care a lot about the views because I really wanted to, and I still want to, be a content creator full time. I think when I was younger, I was consistently making videos week to week. Like I would make a schedule for myself. I remember there was one week where GOT7 had like a comeback and they were releasing like a teaser video every day, and I forced myself. I was like, you have to like film a video after every single shift at work. I feel like I just put a lot of unnecessary pressure on myself to make content, and I watched the views like get less and less and less. And I guess it got to a point where I got quite upset because it's something that I wanted to do as a career. I would still love to, but I also feel like it's very unrealistic. I'm not getting any further in terms of like, I think subscribers was a big one that really got to me. That was a YouTuber, maybe 2016. It was definitely before my K-pop content. We were friends and we had like the same amount of subscribers. We would talk all the time, and all of a sudden she just got super popular. She just stopped talking to me and like unfollowed me on everything when she started like gaining lots of followers. I'm pretty sure the last time she came up on my like recommended, she had like 1 million subscribers, which is period. Like congrats to her. And I just thought so much about the numbers because in my mind, I was like, well, I'm working full time. I have a little bit of time to enjoy life, and I'm using that time to make content that's not getting me anywhere because I just really wanted to get to this place of like being able to do YouTube as a career. And I think now I'm accepting that, yes, like I still want to make content because I enjoy it. But if it doesn't get me anywhere, then I think that's fine. And I think I have to accept that. Anyway, I just got real fucking deep and emotional for no reason. Just a little bit of random lore. I used to live in a small town in the middle of Western Australia called Esperance. It was like a population of like 11,000 people, middle of buttfuck nowhere, 8-hour car drive to Perth. It was very isolated. I did the majority of my YouTube content there, but then I moved to the city in 2022. To put it quite frankly, the people that I was around made me feel like shit. That was both at work and outside of work. I moved up here in 2022, and the place that I'm working at now, I've been at since I think the end of 2023. But from that 2022 to 2023 period, I had 3 different jobs. Basically, I was just not in good working environments. And the time that I had where I should have been making videos was spent dealing with mental health repercussions that came from these jobs that I was in. So I got quite unfortunate in the job route when I moved up to the city. The place that I'm working at now, I am very fortunate to be in a position where I'm managing a really nice, amazing team of girls. That was the situation at work. Outside of work, put it simply, I had some shit friends. I'm not a very confident person. There are a lot of things, so many things that I dislike about myself that give me a lack of confidence to post online. But I think now that those people are not in my life, I don't care so much about the lack of confidence that I have to post, if that makes sense. I could be saying all this and then you never know, I might never post again. I think that's kind of the easiest way to put it. I had a lot of people around me that made me feel like shit, and that kind of pushed me to a point of not wanting to post. Those people are not in my life anymore, but for some reason, those people still stalk my social media, which I don't understand. But something I've learned is that if they care so much about you, then that kind of says something about themselves and their lives if they care that much about what you're doing. So that also comes for anyone who is a K-pop fan and feels like they can't be a K-pop fan in public because people are so judgmental. It does not matter like what people think, because like their lives must be pretty fucking boring if all they do is care about what you're doing with your life. But just keep that in mind. Little words of wisdom, if you will. I guess that kind of sums up the mixture of reasons as to why I stopped posting. There was definitely not one definitive thing that was like, I'll never post again. It was kind of just a mix of things, and then time passed and 3 years went by. But we're here now, and I'm going to give you an overview as to what happened over the last 3 years. I'm talking concerts, because let's be real, who actually cares about what's gone on in my actual life? Because sweet fuck all. But let's talk about the concerts that you've missed and all the multiple vlogging opportunities that went to waste. Now I've made a list of the concerts that I never, I guess, like posted about on YouTube. If you follow me on Insta or on TikTok, there was definitely content on there from these events. I do not post on Twitter anymore. I have not in fucking sweet years. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I wouldn't bother because there's nothing there. 2022, I think I mentioned this in my ASMR video that I went to this random fucking K-pop festival that they had in Sydney, which was called Hallyu Pop Fest. Really badly organized and run. Very fun experience though for myself and my good friend Shan, who you guys have seen on this channel back in the day. It was a fun experience. Weird fucking event though. Here's an overview of the people that were there. Fucking good lineup, to be fair. I feel like that's why it never happened again, because they probably couldn't get a lineup this good. There was Chungha. Hello. There was Kepler with all of the members before two of the members, who one of them was my bias, left the group. Two EXO members, Kai and Chen. Everglow. Hello. P1 Harmony, Astro, SF9, Oh My Girl. That's all I've got written in my notes, but I'm pretty sure that was the whole lineup. If I miss anyone, I'll add them down at the bottom. But I definitely went knowing that it probably wasn't going to ever happen again. And then it didn't. Now the next one, 2023, ample vlogging opportunity was missed in the month of February as Stray Kids embarked on the Maniac tour in Australia. They did 2 shows in Melbourne and 2 shows in Sydney. And I was fortunate enough to go to all 4 concerts. I think the last show in Sydney was, 4 days before my 25th birthday. I just thought that was so iconic. Like, I'm half of 50, and most people my age that I went to school with are all popping out kids or have popped out multiple kids, are getting married, and I spent my 25th birthday at the Maniac tour. And you know what? I wouldn't have it any other fucking way. I did love the Dominate tour, but I will say the Maniac tour has a very special place in my heart. I got very lucky. I had really good seats for all 4 shows. I had sound check for 2 of the shows. Nothing else happened in 2023. It was a very boring year. I think the Maniac tour really took a toll on my financials. 2024. Now, I will mention there are a couple of names in here that are not K-pop related. I did go to the Jonas Brothers in 2024. I don't know if some of you remember, but I did make, I think, a couple of videos about Nick Jonas back in the day. Always been a Jonas Brothers fan since I was like fucking 8 years old. Always loved Nicky. So that was fun. And then randomly, ITZY came to Australia and they left like no notice for this concert. It was insane. Leah wasn't there. She was missed. It was a great experience. I had sound check for that too. So that was really fun. And then later in the year was the Dominate tour. They are still on this tour right now. I think it's due to end. I have got my Dominate hoodie on, if you didn't already notice. So we had the Dominate tour in October. We had the first show, the Melbourne one, and then we had a couple of days later, the weekend concert. It was amazing. We had nosebleeds, but you know what? It was great. And the whole time, Shan and I were pulling the absolute piss, saying like, Christopher Bang is at this fucking concert. Since Stray Kids were in Australia at the time, because the Sydney concert hadn't happened yet, we were convinced that someone from Stray Kids was at this concert, but we just thought it was Chris. We were like, Chris is going to be at this concert. Like, you just know what he's like. Like, of course, he's sitting in the crowd singing fucking often. And then Sungmin posted that he was at the same show that we were at, and he was a few blocks down. And, we did sit in silence that day. That was just crazy to us that he was also there. So there was that. And then there was the Dominate Sydney show. Now, I will say that this was probably another one of those moments that was like a pinch me moment, if you will. I had a really bad experience at the Melbourne Dominate tour, and maybe this is why I have a little bit more love for Maniac, because the Melbourne Dominate show was not great. There was someone extremely, extremely, extremely tall in front of me. I couldn't see. I was quite sick. I was very emotional. It just wasn't a great time. But the Sydney show, I was blessed enough to be basically right on the catwalk. And towards the end, we all kind of took a step forward and we were on the barricade. And I was lucky enough to have a few little moments. Many tears were shed that day. So yes, that was great. After Dominate tour, I think it was maybe 5 days later, yous would not fucking believe. Well, if you've saw my Instagram or my TikTok, you'd know. But Yoogyeom from GOT7 came to Australia. And now this was the most random thing ever, because no one from GOT7 has been here since my last GOT7 vlogs back in 2019. For someone from GOT7 to remember that Australia still exists, and for that to be my bias of GOT7, Brother, that was crazy to me. I went to Yu-Gi-Oh's concert in Sydney. It was in a tiny little university hall, I guess you could call it. And that was a crazy experience. It was a very like intimate event. There was sound check. There was little goodbye session. So I did a little heart and, you know, completed a little heart. And I was like, oh my God, Illy. Yeah. And then I flew back to Perth the next day. And it was the most random 2 weeks because it was like Stray Kids, the weekend, Stray Kids, Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, back to work. Back to real life. Finished off the year with a Chase Atlantic concert. Love them. Great music. That was the end of 2024. 2025 so far is nothing. Nothing to report. No concerts. Very sad. GOT7, don't have much hope for them. Don't see them ever coming back to Australia. Now they did do they did do a show in Thailand, which I did try to get tickets to, as I actually had tickets to go to the 2020 Thailand show at Rajamangala Stadium. That was postponed because of COVID and then was cancelled. I couldn't get tickets for this Thailand show. I spent 9 hours trying and it didn't happen. But yes, I don't see any of them coming to Australia anytime soon. Crossing fingers for Stray Kids. Obviously, there's other things that I've been dealing with. Your usuals, your mental health, your physical health, but we're not going to get into that. Random things to note. I got an allergy to fake nails. So I can't wear fake nails anymore. Not sure what that was about. That just randomly happened. And the fact that in 3 years, that's all I have to report is kind of crazy. For the future, what is going to happen to the Casually Dione channel? I'm sure there are millions and millions of people that want the answer to this question. If you can't guess that sarcasm, I think this time I'm just going to not put unnecessary pressure on myself for views and subscribers and things like that. And I'm just going to post this for me. I clearly cared way too much about what people thought during the time of me not posting. My frontal lobe developed. I've started to realize that like, I just don't really see the point in that. Like there's literally no point in caring about what other people think because I don't care about what other people do. So why should people care about what I do? I guess what I'm trying to say is moving forward, I will be posting. I have things planned. You know, I've got my ideas. Like, the notes app is still there, but I think I definitely want to do things that are more like commentary style or like just talking style. To be honest, I got a lot of copyright claims in all of my old videos because they were always like reaction videos. I don't know how to avoid that. And I always remember saying this in my other videos, like, if you know how to avoid this, let me know. I could research it and I have, but I still don't really understand. I guess that kind of brings this video to a close. So I wanted to say thank you for watching if you did. Thank you for being here. If you're someone that's been here since back in the day, thank you for waiting. If you want to follow me on social media, my Instagram is casuallydione. My TikTok is casually.dione. If you want to subscribe, go for it. I appreciate you if you want to do that. If you don't, I will not force you. If you want to like the video, then that would also be nice. So yeah, I think I'm going to end the video here. If you made it this far, you're amazing. Thank you. I guess I'll see you guys soon, but I don't know when. But I will be back. So thank you for watching and I will see you next time. Bye.